Hello and welcome to the Superhero Hub. Holla holla holla, it's your Hoovian boy Sam.
I'm Matt.
And today we are going to be reviewing.
Doctor Who.
Yeah, this episode was called Pilot, not to be confused with a television pilot. Um, I'll admit I may have been slightly skeptical at this new companion, but I hate to say it. She was well. I don't hate to say it. It's just like meh. You know what I mean? Because I like a good moan. But she was pretty good, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was alright. Yeah, I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, normally these introductory episodes to the companions aren't great. Off the top of my head, the one with Amy, whatever that one was called, that was probably the best one. Normally they're quite lame. I thought this was all right, and she was likable. I don't hate her. I'll say that. It's not like with Martha, where I was immediately turned off.
Yeah, but the thing with the introduction to with Amy, there was the kind of factor that it was the introduction to him as well.
True, yeah. But this episode did, and I suppose it would with a new companion. It does basically function like a pilot. They do go over everything, minus Gallifrey. They basically go over everything with the Doctor anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, you got her as like a chip shop worker, and then he decides to be no. Well, she works in the university as a
Mhm.
chip shop as a canteen girl, and like that they give the whole hint that she's gay and stuff like that.
Hint, hint.
Some people may not have
A
noticed it.
massive exclamation mark. I call it.
Yeah, so I mean, you had him as a private tutor. You had the picture of River Song and Susan on his desk. Then you had the kind of, then you had the
They went hard on the Susan thing, didn't they? I wonder if that's going to come back because they've mentioned her down the years since the show come back. This is the first time and it wasn't just once as well. They really honed in on it.
exactly, and they kind of had the tin with all the different sonic screwdrivers in. Um, I'm Nardole. My mind's on him, and I was trying to determine what I kind of thought of him. I mean, they did the interesting kind of cheap gag when she gets on the TARDIS. Oh, where's the toilet? Oh, I'd give it a minute. I don't know how I felt about that. I laughed, but I was thinking, he was a bit blunt, I think.
Yeah, he's just
I,
kind of the comic relief though. That's what he's there for, isn't it? I
yeah, but
do want to
I
see.
didn't like the bluntness. I didn't like the delivery. He's a funny guy. I'd like him kind of, waddling around like all cheery and stuff like that. But he was kind of like there were some points, especially when like she was kind of crying at the end, and it was like, oh, he doesn't see the tears and stuff like that. There were some things like that. That was.
Mhm.
I know. Obviously, we'll have to get into it more. I mean, generally, the Star Girl was pretty cute. I'm annoyed that she got killed.
Well, she
I,
didn't get killed, did she? She flew off somewhere.
well, technically, she like
Oh, you mean the human version of her? Yeah.
yeah. So like she's at the university, Bill Potts and whatever she's doing, everything. Then she meets this hot chick, and then she's like, look at the puddle, and then the puddle like takes the girl she doesn't know, and then like it starts chasing her around, and then it turns out it don't want to kill him, but really because she said, "Oh, I promise you'll come with you won't go away." Then they're like bonded to each other.
It's like Venom in it, like a symbiote.
Yeah, but it like
Mm.
chases around. The Daleks got a nice little mention. I was kind of expecting him to like the people the Daleks were fighting. I was expecting him to like say who they were. So I don't
Mm.
know who they are, but I was expecting him to drop like a cool little thing. But no kind of hints there. I mean, Nardole was running around with the sonic screwdriver. That was cool. Now the kind of big question is this whole vault. It's got Gallifreyan symbols on it, and for some reason it's buried underneath Bristol University. So my question is, now I'm trying to think, has he been in there? Because
Well,
it's fiddling around a bit on the outside, and you don't actually see it open or go in there. But he does have the psychic paper, and he says if it gets tampered with or whatever, then it'll tell him. And then it says that it got tampered with, but it was a student throwing up on it. So whether that's a red herring for something, but like, I wonder what the Gallifreyan vault's got to do with everything.
I don't know. I have no guesses for what it could be. you know, it's not always going to be a Dalek or anything, is it? He can obviously find them as easily as he wants. So what it is, I assume it's something to do with the Time Lords. Is it a Time Lord themselves? Is it one person? Is it a city? Is it a bottle city candle kind of thing? What is it? I'd have no idea.
Me neither. So yeah, it was a kind of interesting. Well, I don't really. I say interesting. It was different in the sense that the enemy was kind of like super intelligent space oil. I thought that was pretty doofy. The effects were good. The water effects were good. When the kind of end of the universe planet, that looked kind of nice and stuff like that. Yeah, the CGI might have been off with Sydney and stuff like that, but I kind of liked it. He was solid. Peter Capaldi was solid. I liked him.
Yeah, I think he's definitely settled into the role now, isn't he? I mean, it's usually the way once the actors finally, with the exception of Matt Smith, who I think took it from the off, it normally takes them, I think to me anyway, about a year or so to get used to it, and then they're off. I think he's pretty solid now. He looks comfortable, but it's like with these episodes, it's always about getting them out of the way.
Yeah, because you can tell by the fact the antagonist was super intelligent oil, really.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, it's called a spade a spade. It's kind of lame, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
they tried to add some emotional depth by having Bill and her have some sort of thing, which, you know, I couldn't buy into. I might buy into it if it was stretched across a season, but in the space of 45 minutes, whatever it was, not really. You've got to do it. You've got to introduce the companion to the Doctor and then get off for the rest of the season. And in terms of that, it's not too bad. You know, I think it's better than Rose, the first episode of New Who. It's probably better than the one with Donna and the Adipose, even though I think Donna made it. Well, to be fair, that wasn't Donna's first episode, was it? That was the Runaway Bride.
Yeah.
I'll probably put it on a par with that one with Martha. You know, it's okay.
Yeah, that was kind of wacky as well. So yeah, kind of moving on like that. Maybe one of the main focus points, even though it had already been revealed that John Sim was going to be returning as the Master. I mean, you got the whole coming soon, as opposed to next episode's going to be some batty little emoji thing. It's like whatever.
Yeah, I'm hoping they know it looks lame and really they're hiding something that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Hope.
Yeah. So I mean, the kind of coming soon thing, you got obviously Missy popped up. She kind of looked a little robotic for some reason. She was like that. So I thought,
yeah, she's got some weird thing in her ear as well from the picture I saw. I think that might be
Cyberman.
Yeah, Cyberman maybe.
Yeah, you had obviously the Mondozi, the cloth-faced Cybermen in there. You had the Ice Warrior. Didn't you see them? Didn't you see the Cybermen? They're kind of looking up or whatever. So you had them. You had what looked to be a regeneration sequence, and a pretty solid regeneration sequence. Did you clock that?
I clocked.
Did you blink a lot during this?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you.
I
was like, when's John Sim going to show up? I knew he would. I was just sat there waiting for John Sim to show up, and he didn't. And then I was like, yeah, that's all I really paid attention. I don't like to be spoiled too much.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know he was going to be in it, especially as we'd heard rumours like there was going to be some big series-changing event which didn't happen in the episode itself.
Yeah, it's interesting where it's going to fit in the sense the Cybermen are the season finale, so and that's going to be apparently that's a 3-parter. So whether Miss is going to pop up there or is going to pop there, it's kind of interesting to surround him. As I said, we saw full regeneration, face gone, hands gone, and stuff like that with the two people next to him. We saw that, and like John Sim. Like, he had a beard, I guess. He
looked older.
He kind of looked like the War Doctor. That's what I was thinking. I got a bit confused there. He kind of had that look about him, the kind of hair and, like, the goatee or whatever, and, like, his background. Like, I was looking at the background, and that kind of looked Time Lord-esque, whatever. There was a lot of destruction in the background. It was just like...
Well, like yeah, the last time we saw him, presumably he was falling back to Gallifreyan, wasn't he? At the end of time. So it's like... How long was he really John Sim? How long was that incarnation of Master running her out? You know, we know now with the Matt Smith Doctor especially that long period of time can stretch with one Doctor. So theoretically he could have been that Master for hundreds of years, so we don't know what point we're going to see him at. It's could, as you saw the regeneration thing, no, I didn't. Could that be Johnson, or was it the Doctor?
Well, it's interesting that they covered the face, you know what I mean? So it could be a red herring for that, because I mean he looked like he was getting on. I mean the difference is when the Doctor was getting on, the guy could barely move. He had no hair and he was wrinkled to S. So I mean this guy, John Sims, still looked as though he had a bit about him. I think it'd be interesting, as you said, where he's going to pop up. Because is he going to like pop up and then regenerate into Missy, or whatever? Because she obviously he knew who the Doctor was before the Doctor knew who she was. So whether kind of she'd already met him before she met him, before we met him, who knows? So I think it'll be kind of interesting, but in the sense, I think it'll be kind of interesting if there's like two of them running about, like Missy and him at the same time, running about causing trouble. I think that would be interesting as well. So I mean, let's talk numbers for the episode.
I'll go with 7. I thought it was.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'd probably give it 7.5, because it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to. She wasn't as bad as I thought she'd be. It's interesting because it looks as though she's going to be like, she kind of seemed cool in this episode, but like kind of from other bits I've seen, she kind of goes all like slangy and kind of slobby in the way she talks, like, oh, you white, that sort of stuff, as opposed to how she was in this episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but as introduction goes, it wasn't too bad. We got to some insight into her family stuff with was that like her foster mum? Will she come back? I wouldn't bet on it. I mean,
no, they're pretty irrelevant.
Yeah, it's different. It's different in the Moffat era, isn't it? With Amy and Rory's parents. I think we saw Amy's mum and dad once at the end of that season, and never again. Mm-hmm. We saw Rory's dad, and then they disappeared, and we never heard of him again. So I think that it will be less of an impact, but I think it did its job. I kind of like her. I'm looking forward to seeing him again. I don't know how it's going to work out with the Matt Lucas character. Is he going to be there for the entire thing? I don't know, but
it's interesting. Yeah. Like the opposition in this episode was pretty whack. We've got to assume, unless there's a surprise coming on, that the kind of robots with the emoji faces are going to be pretty whack. So it's like you got the Ice Warriors, the Cybermen, the Masters, so it's like, does that mean everything else is just going to be real whack and unimaginative?
I imagine, like, the thing is, we saw the Daleks in this episode, so I've got to assume they're probably not going to come back this season.
They just thought, oh, we'll throw them in because, let's be honest, oil.
Yeah, and it's like, maybe you got to imagine with, like you said, the Master, or both Masters coming with the Cybermen, and with the regeneration coming up, it's going to probably be pretty heavy on the drama.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Towards the end of the season, so if you get the comedy stuff out of the way with now.
Yeah, because dropping back into the Master, the last time we saw Missy, she was all trapped up with the Daleks as well, because there was a talk of a hybrid, wasn't there? A Dalek and Time Lord kind of hybrid. So they nabbed her. She was just about to escape, wasn't she? I can't remember where she was when she was with Davros, and she was just about to run off, and she ended up getting cornered by Daleks. So I guess she must have sided with them. So it'd be interesting to see, are they going to throw her in, but they're not gonna have the Dalek involvement as well, or are they going to throw a couple Daleks in there along with her?
I don't know. I mean, had I not seen this episode, I would assume they would have been there. But it just seems like the way they pop in and say, "Oh, look, Daleks." It seems like we're probably not going to see them again, which I don't really mind. Like, I like the Daleks, but you need to give them a rest every now and then.
Mm-hmm. So unless it's like a massive storyline and something real interesting, you know what I mean? But don't whack them in for like dumb stuff. Like, I mean, the Davros stuff last season was sick, but I mean, if you go back to the one before, you kind of featured it in where they go into the eye stalk of the Dalek I actually don't really know why they went in there. I can't remember, but that was a doofy storyline. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? The Matt Smith one, the kind of when they go down to the planet and they've got like the Dalek Asylum, that was pretty good. You know what I mean? It's very rare they go wrong, but when they do the one shot stuff and it's really kind of whack, it's like, you know what I mean? Because they're A-list. Well, I have A-list villain for like a C-list plot.
Right, and I think I read somewhere Stephen Moffat even said it himself. The problem with the Daleks being the greatest enemy of the Doctor and being the most recurring enemy is that they're the ones he always beats. You know what I mean? They can't be scary if they're there all the time because he's always going to kick their ass. So
Hmm.
give them a break and focus on the Cybermen. I, I still think they look stupid, the old school Cybermen, but
Yeah,
I'll wait to see.
obviously. Yeah,
Yeah.
no one's kind of ringing in on that, but it's like a different thing, isn't it? Because I mean, you kind of get. I'm tired of the like normal. Okay, the real cool updated ones are pretty sick, but I mean, before that, you saw a lot of the kind of alternate world Cybermen, the Cybus
Oh, yeah.
Industries one. They were kind of. You don't want to see them like 4 or 5 years on, do you?
No, they
Because
look
they.
just as whack as well. They both look kind of lame. I think they worked on the model. I think the newest ones we saw were pretty good. I still think you can do some work on it.
Mhm.
There's still a better design to be had, but I mean, whatever. I guess Peter Capaldi wanted the old ones. Maybe good writing can make me stomach it.
I agree. So that is our review of the first episode of season 10 of Doctor Who. I'm Sam,
On that.
and we'll see you in the next review or episode or whatever. Stay Who.
Wow, stay.
Damn straight.